Hey everyone, I'm Rather Incoherent, back to do more testing for the Bloodborne fan campaign that just came out on Steam Workshop. Before I get into Scenario 2, I've opened up a new game where I've just dropped down the map because I wanted to talk about something with the map. You'll see that over here in the book you have one diagram and then you come over here to the map and it drops down with another diagram. The way the actual scenario works is that these three locations are inaccessible to players, but there's not really a good way to show that in Tabletop Sim at the minute. Because, this is what the map really looks like for a player. But it's not what it looks like for enemies, because enemies can just move everywhere. And I'm not mentioning that as a critique of the campaign. I am just mentioning it because it does cause a moment of confusion for the players, where they look at this and see something different than what's over here. It's a minor thing, but it's important that eventually this diagram gets updated to be whatever it is that it spawns in as. Because we had a big moment where we spent a couple of minutes ourselves trying to figure out how the map was supposed to look, and we eventually set it like this, and if you remember, the monsters can move through the red lines. But there is a problem here that can be avoided just by changing the diagram. Anyway, getting on with Scenario 2, let's load our real save. Don't worry about all those errors, I'm sure they're fine. When you start Scenario 2, you're given a choice of 0 recognition, 1 or 2 for your encounter set, and 1 and 2 are very different encounter sets. 0 and 2 are different in that 2 just has more stuff than the 0 set does. So we're going to be playing the version of Fear the Old Blood that you get with 2 recognition. Going to drop down these player cards first before I talk about the deck upgrades. And coming over to the deck upgrades, I'm feeling much better about my Skids deck now. I've cut Malzer, Thompson, and Contraband for a Knuckle Duster to go alongside that Soul Cleaver that I've got. In addition, I picked up Dirty Fighting, which will just help me out a lot when it comes to evading and then killing guys. Just very good action economy. I've upgraded my manual deck, so it seems like a really, really good card in Skids. I got in 1 copy of Hot Streak 2 to help out my economy a little bit. And to get this Knuckle Duster, I needed to pick up an adaptable. My other card I've swapped in with it was Look What I Found. And I've also bought a Savant. And the other cards that have been swapped out for Savant and Look What I Found were Scrounge for supplies, and I believe Active Desperation. There we go. I'm not throwing any guns at anyone. This is a good stopgap for Scenario 1. We didn't need to use it because we were given the Soul Cleaver, but I didn't want to completely twist the deck out of line because I'm starting with the free weapon. I wanted to have it be representative of a real parallel Skids deck. Coming over to Diana, I mean Mystics. Mystics. That's what this is. I spent 1 experience on Clairvoyance, 3 on Ward Protection 2, and then 6 experience on Cyclopean Hammer, and I'm done, and that's it. There's nothing else to talk about. You would think that this 5 and this 5 would be equal, but no, these 2 are 1 and that's a 6, because Mystics don't make sense. Now, I said in editing I would be fixing these, but it turns out that I haven't edited the video yet, so I'll be fixing these for video 3, maybe, if I ever stop playing the game and actually, edit the videos, but that doesn't sound as fun. Anyways, after Scenario 1, we go to the interlude for Odin Chapel. Going to Odin Chapel, we meet all of the people who can be chosen to help us. And these characters will be added to your deck. You're allowed to swap them out at any point in the future, and they're capable of permanently dying, just like the partner assets, but they do not start and play unless you have text that specifically tells you to do so. Looking through them, I've already picked who I want for my guys, so I don't need this stack anymore. I've already got a copy of them up here for later. For Skids, I'm going to be putting Jura in my deck. He's +1 fist, +1 book. That helps me do everything that I'm doing on this character. And he gets to evade at base 5, which is higher than my number already was. And he's 2/2 soak. He's not incredible, but I think he's improving the deck more than he's hurting it. Although I don't have a charisma yet, so that's a bit of a problem. Lonnie might be more important. And over here on Diana, we have Dr. Cecily Yosef. She has +1 head and +1 book. Again, don't care about the book at all, but the +1 head is very, very nice. And she has Test Head 5 is successful, move 1 damage from your investigator to an asset you control, or more importantly, an enemy at your location, and that's a lightning bolt. This is insanely strong. This is one of the best Mystic allies I've ever seen. The first time I read this, I thought she was mediocre because I thought that lightning bolt was an action. And then I reread it, realized it was a free action, and that's incredible. Honestly, it might be on the side of overpowered. Because while I think that with the weapons you get at the start, the guidance set, they were all meant to be super strong, when you compare them to the other ones, evade at base 5 of + book and fist, +1 to head and foot, and then if you get attacked, you can deal a horror to this guy to reflect a damage and draw a card. These other effects do not seem anywhere near as strong as Lightning Bolt, heal 1, deal 1. And I know you have to test head 5. Okay, no, this is the same thing that happened with the gun. This is fine. I'm just playing Diana, that's the problem. Daniela broke the gun and Diana breaks this, because Diana's the only character that's regular to me testing 8 or 9 to 5 as opposed to like 6 or 7 to 5. This ability's fine. I was originally overreading it super hard because I'm playing Diana, but other mystics don't get to abuse this scenario so hard. I think she's fine. I think she's good. I think she's in a healthy spot, and I just overreacted because I'm playing Diana. I think we're safe. Now, with this scenario, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to start in the middle in the Chapel Sanctuary. We don't appear to exist. I'll just get copies of them, I guess. So, like I said, we're going to be playing... Why are there 2 Skids? Ah, gross. Alternative core set Skids. Get out. Don't want to see that ever again. I forgot he had a different art available. So we're all starting in the Chapel Sanctuary, which, by the way, is where the Blood Saint Sister Amelia will start. And then the other bystander assets will start in random locations around us. We've got Nanny Magda, Henley, Sister Adela, Ariana Kuttner. There's a lot of text on these cards. My number one statement about this scenario as a whole, lot of text, lot of text. Text, 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 text. These 5 cards all have relatively similar but meaningfully different text. These locations all have text. There's just a lot. It's so easy to misplay when you give people this much text. It's so easy to stumble over rules. And if nothing else, like you start the scenario by reading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cards of rules. That's too much. This needs to be simplified a little bit in some way, or drip fed to you over time. The thing that occurs to me immediately is there are some scenarios where you have like a second encounter card that just has rules on it, like the Save the Civilians card in Marrakesh and Scarlet Keys. I think if these characters all had like a common effect as a bystander that was only a scenario card up here, it would really help to smooth out the player experience. Because these people being different isn't actually meaningful. Like, yeah, they're different, but if they were 4 copies of the same card, it would not make the scenario worse for me. It would feel the exact same way, except to just be reading way less. And it upsets me to be like, look, my brain is small, please don't give me this much text. But unironically, this is too much mental load. No one reads all 12 of these cards and then proceeds to remember them all and not make any mistakes. If your table manages to collectively get everything right, that's incredible. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We haven't actually set the story yet. We've only talked to these allies and picked ours. Now, since we ease Gilbert's pain, we go to Chapel 4. And this is a thing that I don't really like because this isn't a choice. Even if it was a choice, it'd be uninformed, but it's not a choice. You get a skull if you get Viola. That's not a big deal. Skull is the softest symbol. Alternatively, you transform a different token into a squid if you get Gilbert. And honestly, the more skulls in the bag, the better. I would take a bag of 100 skulls over the normal chaos bag every single day. The more my odds of getting a skull increases, the better I feel about the scenario in almost every scenario. Turning something else into a squid feels much worse, but it's where we're at. The main thing that feels bad here, by the way, isn't that something's getting turned into a squid. I'm completely fine with that. It'd be normal if you just added a squid to the bag even. The thing that feels bad is being told that if I had rolled the other coin flip, then I would have a less bad thing and it was entirely out of my hands. So we've added the squid and we take out the tablet. I think tablet tends to generally be worse. And then we read the passage corresponding to our recognition level. We have 2 or higher, so we get this character in play if we're starting with them. And wouldn't you know it, I actually did pick this character. So should just start in play, making my 2 experience in the Thicket Brother Xavier's a lot worse this scenario as I don't have charismas yet. On both of these characters, if I were like really optimizing, I would probably have upgraded charismas over whatever I did do instead, but I'm not too concerned about it. This is how I'm going to be doing my arrows in this campaign. I'm not sure what the best way to do it is really, because it's very much a problem with like, you don't have a marker in Tabletop Sim for enemy only path. That's just not really a thing. I'm going to try to get all of these guys like on the same side. I think left side is the cleanest. And Eileen McRow can end up in your deck as well, depending on if you killed the Cleric Beast or not, or if you manage to listen to the Elders, whatever causes that. But we're not starting with Eileen. Is Eileen, you can change that at any point in time. Should I start with Eileen? Oh, absolutely. Screw that other guy. Eileen starts in play. That's just kind of valuable. That's kind of a lot. I need to read the rules on Eileen. I don't need this copy of Jura anymore, though. Going back to the rules on the allies, if I discard them, if they aren't defeated, do they die? Is their health permanent and tracked anywhere? Okay, so in this text here, you can see if a hunter ally is killed or driven insane through story actions, that's what does it. If they're just defeated, that doesn't matter at all. That makes them a lot better. Their health isn't recorded anywhere. They're just parts of my deck, and I'll be starting with Eileen and Cecily in play. It looks like I was wrong about the recognition levels. 0 and 2 are meaningfully different, but when you press the setup on 2, it actually does clear out the 0 bag for some reason. There are 3 very different sets of enemies you can see in this. I assume there's more changes beyond that, but we're going to be playing tower defense and protecting this chapel, and what we see is based on how well we understand the world. Or maybe more accurately, who comes for us might equally be based on that, because we're going to be seeing Choir Intelligence, which isn't really a world perception thing, that's just like them being mad at us for knowing the truth. There's a weird line break here, not sure what that's about, easy fix. Alright, I'm going to be real with you. This is wrong. In my first playthrough of this, I made the same note. Fr. Michael Gascoigne. It's Father Gascoigne. No one knows his name is Michael. Fr. feels weird. Put Father Gascoigne. I'm glad I now know that Gascoigne has a first name that I could have found out, or more accurately, probably remembered. But I didn't remember it because it's not important. And if I had to choose between Fr. Michael Gascoigne and Father Gascoigne, that's an easy Father Gascoigne every day. It's a great name. Don't put this here. The developers of Bloodborne didn't. You shouldn't either. It's like if you had named Sister Amelia, Amelia the Nun. I mean, it's kind of accurate. It probably is just straight up accurate, but it still bothers me at a deep level as a fan of Bloodborne to see FR period being abbreviated to fit Michael in there. Really weird thing to go off on. I'm sorry about that. Let's continue. And I am now ready to begin barricades again, and the new rule is still being bolded. It looks like it's the same new rule as last time. It's just going to be bolded every time to remind you, and we have patrol rules as well. This is really important and needs to be bolded. This actually needs to be bolded. I didn't realize this in our first playthrough at all. If an enemy with the patrol word be compelled to move to a location which is blocked by a card ability or a barricade token, the enemy does not move. Hunter enemies break barricades. Patrol enemies have no such text. Either this line is incorrect and should be changed, or this line should be bolded to draw attention to the fact that it is not the same as the barricade rule. Because I had no idea. I'm absolutely sure we might not have. We didn't place that many barricades, to be honest. But we definitely would have messed up and had patrol enemies break barricades if the situation presented itself. So let's get into it. Let's read these cards. With Agenda 1A, Lex Ecclesia. Forced, when checking the Doom threshold. Doom on cards other than this agenda, subtract from the Doom in play. This is tower defense. We want to get down to 0 Doom in play and 5 Doom on the agenda as fast as possible. Forced, if an enemy is drawn from the encounter deck, spawn it at one of the 3 chapel graveyard locations, empty if possible instead of its usual conditions. And that is these 3 locations that are inaccessible to us as players. And then during the enemy phase, if an enemy would move into a chapel location from a graveyard, and there is a barricade in their path, cancel that enemy's movement and discard 1 barricade. This forced effect is just there as a reminder. I think that's unnecessary, but at the same time, it's good that it's there. It's really good that it's there. Like, I don't think it should need to be there, but at the same time, I'm glad it's there and good job putting it there. You're definitely right to put that as a reminder to avoid people messing up, because it's a core mechanic that's easy for us to forget and play like we're in Dunwich. Now, Act 1A, the Battle for Odin Chapel. Action, if there are no clues at your location, refresh its clues to its maximum value, because we need clues to place barricades. Lightning Bolt to spend 1 clue, or sorry, in our case 2 clues, to place a barricade between your location and a connecting location, and Lightning Bolt if you're at the same location as another investigator, you may give them up to 4 clues, max once per round. Holy shit. I had no idea that last ability existed. I was wholly unaware of this. Admittedly, it didn't affect our game. In our game, we have double cluever Daniela. Off the table, I mean. So Daniela was just like fighting turn 1 to final turn, never stopped. No one had time to come up and give me clues, nor a reason to come up and give me clues. They were just running around doing clues and dropping barricades where I couldn't be. And our objective is protect as many as you can. You'll be instructed when to advance. You advance when you kill the boss. And it's definitely not the character named after a Bloodborne boss. It could be anything that tells us to advance, but it's probably not Sister Amelia. Spoilers, it's Sister Amelia. In case my bitter sarcasm came off as criticism of the design of the scenario, it's not. I just think it's funny. I just think it's very funny. Because even as players of the game, we're like, oh, this isn't how the game went. We're in a slightly different story. Let's see what happens. And then we got to the point where like everyone was in the chapel with Amelia and the agenda was about to advance. And I was like, guys, they're not safe there. We put them in the wrong place. Now, unfortunately, this is where you would like to start playing, but first, let's read our location. We have the Chapel Sanctuary, 4 Shroud, 2 clues. Barricades cannot be placed between Chapel Sanctuary and connecting locations. So these 4 places cannot actually have barricades. It's only between the church and the graveyards. Which makes this little bit here, during the enemy phase, if an enemy would move into a chapel location from a graveyard and there's a barricade in their path, seem really unnecessary. Because it's impossible for them to move anywhere else that has a barricade. This can just say if an enemy would move through a barricade, or if an enemy's path would go through a barricade or something like that. There's a bunch of location specification here that's unnecessary because it's the only location the thing can be. Now, our starting and most important assets, Sister Amelia and Afflicted Blood Saint, they're all going to be Victory 0. She's a Blood Saint and a Bystander. The rest are all Bystanders, and one is also a Blood Saint. She has Force. If an enemy's at her location at the end of the round, place 1 Doom on Sister Amelia. That is how all of them start, but then they deviate. Robert Henley has, same thing, put 1 Doom on him. Then he moves to the furthest chapel location from all investigators. The investigators must pay or may pay 3 resources as a group to cancel this move. And then at the bottom, they also all have this text. Forced if Robert Henley has 3 or more Doom on him, resolve the text on his reverse side. And you can see it the same thing with Sister Amelia. And with everyone else, it's always going to be the second forced effect. 3 Doom flips them and they die. I really would recommend a scenario card for this because this can be slimmed down a lot. You can have a scenario card called Holding Out or Protecting the Chapel or whatever. And it can say forced, at the end of the round, place 1 Doom on all bystander assets that are in the same location as enemies. And then additionally, forced, if a bystander asset has 3 or more Doom on them, resolve the reverse side of the card. And then all of these guys just massively shrink down. It becomes so much easier to parse as a player. Because it's not even a thing where you can immediately know where the card ends, because the first forced effect moves on into what changes. This guy has spent 3 resources to cancel it, or furthest chapel. Whereas instead of that, you could say, when this character places Doom, it's just the start of that sentence, and you immediately know the first 4 lines are the only part that's the same, or first 4 words, rather. This one over here, Sister Adela, still gets the Doom, and then she just moves to any different location containing another bystander. You can pay Horror to get rid of her Doom 1 at a time. You pay Resources to get rid of his Doom 1 at a time. You pay an action instead of a Lightning Bolt with Amelia to get rid of all of her Doom. And she doesn't move. She always stays here. With Ariana Kuttner, she's going to move to an adjacent chapel location, and then you add a Doom to your cards to get rid of the Doom on her. So like you can sacrifice a Guard Dog or something to get rid of the Doom eventually. Just replay a new hand asset, whatever. And the last bystander we have is Nanny Magda. You can see her first 2 lines of force text are super basic. She has a Lightning Bolt ability to draw a Chaos token. If it's odd, move her to an adjacent chapel. If it's even, move her to the chapel furthest away from all enemies. And then if it's a symbol, move her to the closest chapel location that contains an enemy, limit once per round. And then an ability, test head 4 if you succeed, remove a Doom from her. Nanny Magda doesn't feel in line with the rest of these. Like, spend 3 resources as a Lightning Bolt. Take a Horror as a Lightning Bolt. Just move the Doom somewhere else and try to get rid of the assets. Pretty hard to deal with, but it's still a Lightning Bolt. To any location with another bystander of your choice. Very, very good on that one. This guy does move to the furthest chapel location from all investigators, but you'll know this is happening to him. You can try to arrange this to work well for you. And usually they'll be equidistant choices at worst. But you go over to Nanny Magda and it's just like, it's rough. She's going to just stay right where she is with the enemy. She's not going to move. If you use the Lightning Bolt, you can only try once per round, which feels entirely unnecessary. If it's odd, she's going to run away to an adjacent chapel, which might be what you want. If it's even, she'll move to the chapel furthest away from all enemies, which might be what you want. If it's a symbol, you move her to the closest chapel that contains an enemy, which is very bad. And it's just like, it feels like I don't have control when there's not a reason for me not to have control. I guess I like the idea that one of them doesn't do what you want necessarily. But at the same time, for this one being hard to deal with, I just don't want that much text for it. And also, action test head 4 if you succeed to remove a single Doom from Nanny Magda. That's not actually, that needs to be a Lightning Bolt. All of the other ones that remove just 1 Doom are a Lightning Bolt. Nanny Magda is the one who's going to die, I think 9 times out of 10. I think Nanny Magda is the only one that's like very, very hard to deal with. And if she's supposed to be harder, I get it, but like, I don't know, it feels weird to me that she's so out of line with the other 3. Now, all these graveyard positions, they're just forced. You can't enter here. Their shroud values don't matter. Their clue values don't matter because you can't go to them. That never changes. And our other locations are search the top cards of your deck for a Blessed or Tome card to put in your hand. If an enemy would cause a barricade here to be discarded by moving from a chapel graveyard, discard an additional barricade so the Knave is harder to protect. The Chapel Rectory searches the top 9 cards for an item or supply. And up here, it costs additional clues to drop down the barricades. Or you can discard an item card from your hand or play area Discarding items from hand is definitely the easiest way to go about this. So you have left and right wings that are beneficial and easy to protect, and then the north and south are very difficult to protect with different downsides on each of them. One needs twice as many barricades, one is much harder to place barricades. And I think that's it. I'm quite a ways in the video, but it's finally time to start, and that's precisely my criticism of all this text. So, let's do our mulligans. I actually went over to do an underworld deck. I'm just so not used to having a normal deck. Good to see you, Soul Cleaver. You're going to stay in the hand. So is Faustian Bargain and Well Connected. The rest of this, not so much. That seems like a really good set of cards to hold. I'm okay with that. Dirty Fighting too, you don't say. I mean, we can't really evade very well yet, but we'll get there. Like, Well Connected on an evasion check with Dirty Fighting and to just murdering them at millions with the Soul Cleaver, that's pretty good. Now, over here, having both these allies start in play is so good. The fact that starting in play is such a big difference also means that you're in a position where you might actually swap your allies constantly just based on who's starting in play, and I do really, really like that. I'm keeping Stand Together, not Promise, not this, not that. Fool Me Once will go in my basement eventually. There's a lot of cards that'll go in my basement eventually. But it wasn't any of those cards. Those were not the cards that eventually go to my basement. Alright, so getting into the scenario, what's the plan on Diana? Emergency Cash, Stand Together, Backpack, and Hope? May as well start with the Backpack. Oh my god, the level 0 one costs 2, it's so bad. I forgot how terrible level 0 was. I didn't remove my basic weaknesses or set them properly between scenarios. Let's go get them back. We had Overzealous and Diana and Mob Enforcer in my deck over here. It always blows my mind that Mob Enforcer's in the core set. I didn't see him even a single time until I was playing Edge of the Earth. Alright, Mob Enforcer into the Skids deck and Overzealous into the Diana deck. I wasn't paying attention. I saw the wrong weakness and I got distracted. I'm just gonna research. I don't think it was good, but this can't even hit cards that I want. Like, none of the cards as hits matter. Emergency Cash and then blanked. I can't imagine the previous hit was much worse than that, right? So we have that. I'm just gonna play the Emergency Cash immediately and discard this then. And then I'll Stand Together because it's more valuable than Emergency Cash. And I promise that I'm not trolling and this Diana deck is serious and it's not just hot garbage. I really wish I had a head value other than 1 right now because it's not going up anytime soon. Okay, over here on Skids, immediate hot streak. Soul Cleaver, for sure. Oh no, there's a better ordering there. We play Well Connected, we gamble, we tap the Well Connected. We're going to be up 5-0, up 5-1, up 5-2. I ain't getting -4. What's that? It ain't wait. It ain't -4. That's the correct one for this scenario. So now I gain 2 resources, and then I play the Soul Cleaver. Cool. Great. Excellent. That'll be it for us. Heavy Furs is a good draw. We don't really need it now, though. Thank God. I don't even care what I draw. I'm warding it. 1 of 5 Doom and Evil cards. A Mirror Bad Dream test we had. If you fail, takes 2 Horror. I'm probably failing, though. I Well Connected this. I'm testing up 2 now. No Guts. No nothing. I'm not testing up 2. I'm testing up 1. I'm not testing up 1. Let's fix that. I gamble a money. 3-1. 4-1. 2-1. -3. What a roller coaster. Sister Amelia probably gets this Horror unless there's someone that's really, really easy to do it with. Or this Doom, rather. That's going to be a negative Doom, by the way. We also need to remove an Insight token. Wait a second. That curse was a lie. That curse was a lie. No one's played anything with curses. I forgot to clean them out. Remove all curses. That means we were up 2. We got +1, -3. That's actually exact pass. Get out of here. That curse is the reason we failed. So we'll gain 2 resources. Then we do the Well Connected on this test. Like I was saying, we're up 1 now. You know, that's still failing, but our odds are better. Yeah. It's not like we have any barricades to lose, though. Alright, Blood Drunk over here definitely matters less, but it still matters. It will also just go away a lot easier, though. That's the big deal with this. I could just ward this to make it not be here, though. Like, I know it's completely blank, but I could also just ward this. It's the unupgraded ward. I just need to cycle the ward, man. I spend a resource, gain a resource, draw a card. This goes in my basement, and I get rid of this. Giving me 1 more head. which, you know, it's not the best, but we're up to 3. That's almost usable. You can't really defend this chapel nave location, so my plan is to run down here and fight forever on Skids eventually. Diana, I think I'm going to need to be placing barricades with at some point. Don't have an item in my hand to discard to put a barricade up here. And I don't want to fight on the left side either. I think both characters are just rolling at this point. Like, no one has anything they need to do. I'm going to draw a card over here. I'm going to draw a card. Oh, that's what happened. I played Hot Streak turn 1 with 7 and went to 12. Went down to 2, gambled, went up to 12, went down to 8. I thought I played Faustian Bargain because I gained 5 and it was in my hand. I added curses because of that, I think is what happens. So now I'll put those curses in here for real and get this Faustian Bargain going. I just need well-connected online and good so I can actually dodge before Dirty Fighting actually does anything. Over here, my hand doesn't do anything. That still doesn't do anything. I'm going to play Brother Xavier so that maybe I can do something. Oh, I don't have Charisma. I'm not going to play Brother Xavier. Going to play Rite of Seeking, because that's definitely a part of any game plan that does stuff and wins. Even if, like I was going to say, even if I get a Dragon Pole and I have it equipped, I still need arcane assets for it to hit for damage numbers. Look what I found is kind of not the card I'm looking for now. 1 of 5 Doom, evil cards. We have Canonization. This card is terrifying. You test Foot or Fist 3. If you fail, choose 1. An ally in your play is discarded, or an ally asset in your deck is removed from the game, all copies of it. If you can do neither, the card gains Surge. On the one hand, this test isn't important. I can afford to lose Eileen, and I'm already up 2. On the other hand, what else am I well connecting this turn? So sure, I'll be up 5. Get out of here. Breached is a card I would really like to ward, but I just spent my ward because I had to do anything. Spawning an enemy at our location is absolutely just not a problem. These guys want ready enemies, right? Oh no, they only care about the enemy being there. It feels like ready enemies should be specified, doesn't it? It depends on what Doom represents. If Doom represents panic and the people here, then an engaged enemy or an exhausted enemy doesn't matter. But if Doom represents like the people of this place being harrowed by their enemies, them actually having something done to them, then I feel like exhausting the enemy should count. And this scenario has a problem. You're going to start seeing it real soon. It's incredibly fight-centric. There is not that much for cluevers to do comparatively. And as a result of that, I feel like this really should specify ready enemies. That way, at least if you're dodging, you're doing something. Otherwise, dodging does like almost nothing. It just prevents the attack. I think that really should say ready. Regardless, we're going to grab an enemy for Breached and spawn it with us in the middle. I've got a Spectral Razor here. This Choir Intelligence enemy is a problem. He's 4 Fist, 3 Health, 4 Foot, Aloof, Alert. He's going to patrol the Blood Saint story assets. He ignores barricades. At the end of the round, if he's ready, you know, like I said, that it should be with these other guys. If he's ready at a location with a Bystander asset, they get an additional Doom. Hits for 2R. He's just very, very scary. And I think the best thing for us to do is to try to deal with him now. Which means we're going to engage first action as, Skids. Actually, wait a second. We just used our well connected. I had this still on 15 degrees, which is why my well connected wasn't tilted enough for me to realize. Alright, sorry. At the same time I was realizing well connected was exhausted and Spectral Razor didn't hit for the numbers right now. I also realized that my dog needed my assistance, so I've dealt with my dog, and now I need to figure out how I'm dealing with this. We're currently 3, 4, 5 to 4. Well connected is not available. What's the ruling on aloof enemies? You can attack them if they're engaged. That's just how it works, right? It doesn't have to be engaged with you. Yes, if they're engaged with an investigator, you can attack them. So I think what I have to do here is play this turn differently than I intended, because this resource was spent and I just didn't realize it because I had tiny degrees on. What we're going to need to do is play Emergency Cache and draw 2 cards. Guess we're not drawing that Clairvoyance on the bottom. Cool. We don't draw 2 cards. I played Emergency Cache. We'll draw that in a second. Last action is engage. Over here, we're going to play Hard Knocks. And then we're going to double action swing at Danielle's head. Or sorry, Diana's head. We're currently just looking at 5 to 4. Quick recount, we're at 3 Fist base, then 4, then 5, then 6 to 4. I need to spend 2 resources, not 3. I thought it was 3 at first. Yeah, sure. I really should be counting those, but we're not ready to yet. Hot Shriek is not high enough level for it to fail, and this guy's dead. Okay, that's perfectly normal RNG. All right, we dealt with the enemy. Took both of our whole turns. Hey, Mob Enforcer, how's it going? I feel like as somebody with a 20-card deck, having to deal with this guy every couple of turns is a bit of a hassle. Penitence. Barrel. Discard cards on the top of the encounter deck until an enemy is revealed, then test 3 head. If you fail, take 1 damage for each enemy in the pile. That's only going to be 1 enemy currently. Wait. This card is worded wrong. You discard cards on the top of the encounter deck until an enemy is revealed. The enemy is not discarded or drawn, it's revealed. Then test 3 head. If you fail, take 1 damage for each enemy in the discard pile to a maximum of 3. If there are no enemies in the encounter deck, heal 1 horror, this card gains Surge. So, let's just do it. Not an enemy. There's an enemy. Search the encounter deck. There's 1 enemy in here. So I'm gonna take 1 horror if I fail this. No, it's damage, isn't it? Yeah, it's damage. But what happens to the Church Behemoth? Does he go back on top? Does he shuffle in? Does he discard? Like, I don't even know. I've got no idea. I would think you discard until you discard this, and it goes in the discard pile. I feel like I would need to look at an official card to know what the wording on that should have been. But that definitely is unclear. Anyway, we discarded a victory enemy, which is a little bit unfortunate. It's just a 3-head test, and it's just for damage. But I'm not doing anything, so like I may as well. Oh, I forgot to take... Did I? My brain's breaking. What's happening? Sure, Faustian Bargain. Was this already out? When did we pull that out? Is it still there from the last scenario? I don't know. My brain just fell apart with insights when I pulled that token. I'm going to assume that everything's done correctly. I've got it all in my economy pack, so I guess paying this guy off isn't going to be a big deal. Wait, was that only if you pass? No, it's not only if you pass. Also, I did pass. Fucking Christ. Parallel Skids is going to be overperformed if he keeps hitting stars. So this card gains Surge if you already have it, and otherwise it goes in your threat area. You can no longer be healed, nor can your assets. And you need to discard an asset or take 2 damage to get rid of it. Okay, so I do want to point out, take 2 damage isn't actually an option here. If the problem is that you're dying and you can't be healed and you're willing to spend an action to be healed, taking 2 damage to do so is not actually an available path. It might be for horror, but that's really just discard an asset to get rid of this. This is a very, very terrifying card. Like, it can do nothing, but if you need healing, it's actually just crit chill that cost an action and didn't get a test in addition to that. Like, that's actually either the softest card in the world or one of the most brutal with no in between. But I can still cancel the damage before it comes to me. Good job, Deny Existence, getting around the game again. You know what I forgot to do that's been making this character a lot worse? I forgot to put Dark Insight in my opening hand. Tabletop Sim used to do this in one of the older builds, I feel like. I remember seeing it do this automatically. Maybe I'm just going crazy. Anyway, my deck is definitely better with an additional cancel guaranteed in the opening hand. And the reason I was thinking about it is I absolutely will just throw it away to redraw this. I don't care what the card I get is, I just need to get my basement up. Oh, this is definitely a worse card, though. Like, this is unambiguously worse. We're up to 4 head now, and we're testing up 1. If I fail, I take 2 damage. And this is the thing I do not feel good about at all. If you draw a tablet or squid, gains Surge. That's just random Surge. There's nothing else to that mechanic. That is just a random amount of Surge in the deck. And I do not enjoy this. Oh shit, I drew Cyclopean Hammer. That's good though. I pass and I don't get Surge. Could have been a lot worse. All right, now it's our turn for real. You think we're gonna like get clues or leave at some point? Probably not. I discard this guy. Or the action token, but I'm pretty sure I'm discarding that guy. Then I'm playing Hot Shriek. Then I'm playing Faustian Bargain. Put in 2 curses in the bag. Does Diana need money? Cyclopean Hammer does cost a lot of money. But like after the Cyclopean Hammer, what does she really need to play, right? And she has Stand Together. I'm taking all of this for myself. I'm a rogue. This is just how rogues work. I bet $1. Up 2. I lose $1. See, this is why I need my money more than Diana, because I need to go gamble with it and lose it all. Anyway, Diana, can you stand together real quick to give me my money back? I lost it all gambling. Anyway, I'm going to play Cyclopean Hammer, because, like, dear God, is that a good card. The nerf on Cyclopean Hammer, if you haven't seen me talk about this before, is so trivial. Let me put it this way. You swing Cyclopean Hammer 3 times in a turn. First swing. There is no nerf. This is the exact same. Second swing. This is assuming you're hitting high enough every time to trigger the additional effect. You're attacking an enemy, right? Did that enemy have 3 health or less? It's already dead. 4 health? You killed it. 5 health? You killed it. Unless you are attacking a 6 health enemy, there is no nerf to Cyclopean Hammer. You have to be swinging for at least 6 damage before you notice the nerf, and that's just like a slight hit to ball skilling. It doesn't matter. What am I swinging this hammer at right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 7? Like, they're not the best numbers, but they're pretty good. Like, 7's just good enough. I'm gonna investigate my own location with Rite of Seeking, though. I'm not actually able to do that. It's 4 to 4. I'm gonna move down here. I have a question here. I don't know if this works correctly. If an enemy would cause a barricade token at Chapel Day to be discarded by moving from a Chapel Graveyard, discard 1 additional barricade. So the way I originally read that is if you don't put 2 barricades down, they just charge in. It doesn't say that. If I put 1 barricade down and there's a guy over here, he breaks the barricade. He's not moving, he would just destroy a second barricade. So if I don't place a second barricade, nothing happens. I will be playing the way that abuses the wording in the rules. I'm not sure how to phrase this to make it actually work. It would be choose 1, it discard an additional barricade, the enemy enters Chapel Nave. And then because you can't choose to discard a barricade if there are none, you're forced to choose the other, right? It would be something like that. Because the current statement actually does nothing. Anyways, that's it for us. Upkeep, Promise of Power is always wonderful. Savant's very good at gambling, if nothing else. 4, technically 3 Doom. Nope, actually just 4 Doom, because that 1 negative Doom we have didn't really come into play. That was a trick, those curse tokens weren't there. I'm blood drunk now, thanks Daniela, or thanks Diana rather. I'm gonna mix their names up forever because I'm playing them in the same campaign simultaneously. Like, blood drunk's not really a problem. It just cancels out dirty fighting, actually. If I evade them, can you evade after fighting with this? You can only fight, evade, or move? Oh, hell yeah. No, we're just keeping this blood drunk. We don't even want to get rid of it. Dirty fighting cancels out the -2, and my numbers aren't great then, but I'm swinging for 1 extra damage every time, and the enemies in the scenario have huge health pools, to the point that it's a complaint I'll raise once they show up. Over here in Diana, oh hey, speak of the devil. You can go over here, because I want you to come down. This Enraged Zealots has 3 fist, 3 foot, and 2 health. It's also a massive retaliate, patrols to the nearest bystander, so that part makes sense. Enraged Zealot gets +2 players' health. There are 3 of these in the encounter deck. It cannot make attacks of opportunity, and if you enter its location, it attacks you for 1/1. These things have more base health in 2-player, just 2-player, than Royal Emissary does. And as you go up, you get even more crazy health bars. In addition, there's just straight up 3 copies of these guys. It's crazy. There is so much fighting going on in this scenario, and like as you've seen, you can use a barricade to buy time, but it's not actually helpful, really, because you will have to deal with these enemies eventually. You really want to be killing them. Anyways, what are we doing? We're blood drunk fighting over here. We're fine with getting a horror here and pushing her to the right. That's not a big deal for us at all. We're also fine with moving her, and our plan is to repeatedly drop people down here and have them come in right and bottom and just fight them off. We're swinging 3 and 3 with blood drunk. We can evade them. They have 3 foot. We have 4, 5, 9, that's very consistent. Then we're going to be dirty fighting them. They have 3, we have 3, 4, 5. Dirty fighting cancels this, 5 to 3. Skids could definitely handle them. I'm going to walk over on Skids. He's staying blood drunk. I hope I never roll a +1 or a star on that. I can search for an item or a supply card at my location. Not really sure I need one. I'm going to gamble now while I have the chance. I'm going to tap Well Connected for +4, and I'm going to bet 3 resources, putting me at 7 to 3. For a second, I thought that broke Blood Drunk, and I was so upset. But we're not testing Blood Drunk. 7 to 3, this passes. I get my hot streak back again. And I make 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We moved, we gambled, that wasn't an action. The thing we were about to do was play Dirty Fighting for 3. And I was going to investigate and use Look What I Found, but I guess I'm just going to play Hot Streak again to keep getting it back forever. I can afford to buy a lot of Hard Knocks at this point. Don't roll a good token. Good job. Excellent work, Skids. Stay blood drunk. Stay rowdy. All right, over here on Diana, what the hell are we doing? It's less fun than this. This is nonsense. I think drawing 2 of these is terrifying and potentially very, very bad for you and maybe not entirely balanced. But I really enjoy that my entire board is just cards from this set working together to allow a stupid thing to happen with Dirty Fighting and buying success. Is this limit once per phase? No, it's just straight up forever. I'm just dealing 1 more damage. This is just... What weapon is this? Old Cyclopean hammer in one hand? I don't even know. It's crazy. Anyway, on Diana, last action's gonna be Rite of Seeking. I know what that one is. What are the other 2? Dude, I don't even know. Are they drawing cards? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I draw a card, I have to play a card. There's no card I can actually play. I could read the signs, draw a card, read the signs. I mean, it's overkill, but it doesn't matter where my clues come from. All right, so I've been looking at my hand. I think the play is draw, read the signs, Rite of Seeking. I'm definitely a big fan of read the signs. There's no reason not to draw first if that's the play. Welcome aboard, second Brother Xavier I can't play. And then I read the signs at 7 to 2, which is just fantastic numbers. Bring this down, it's gonna be my Rite of Seeking. I just wanted to make sure I didn't use it by accident. Easy success. And then I'm gonna guts play on this Rite of Seeking because it's only 4 to 2 right now. I really don't want to fail this squid and be delayed by a round. Now I can. Stop it. Get normal rolls. It literally can't be better than that. I don't even want anything from my basement. It's not even helpful. It is gross though. Oh, okay, that's fair. Fine. So how bad did things just... Oh yeah, you are most definitely overzealous. You enraged a lot of zealots. Fucking Christ, that's appropriate. Alright, so one's going down to fight Daniela now, and the only other place to put one's here. It's just coming down, nothing I can do about it. That gets real messy real fast, I guess. Oh, things were going so well until I drew overzealous. I feel like that's a common story. Okay. Upkeep doesn't quite happen yet. This guy hunts in. Java, I don't want to update right now. This guy hunts into Skids. They both take 1/1 on both of them. I'll be using their allies as expendable soak, I think, because they have more valuable allies elsewhere. Okay, maybe not here because she would literally die. I'm going to deny the existence of this horror just to put it in the basement. The damage on me is actually a battery to hit people with thanks to the doctor. Getting up to 5 head. And lastly, this one comes down to. Then at the end of the round, we're going to, on all of these guys, place 1 Doom on them. I guess we were never going this round because they were all getting Doom, but not on them, on the bystanders. Yeah, I was never getting to advance this round because this zealot was going to be dropping them, unfortunately. Now, because there's an enemy here, I'm going to move her to an adjacent location. There's only one. Over here. Any different location. I think it might be best here. I'm not sure. As for you, the furthest from all investigators forces you to go here. So the debate is, do I want to stack them here or over here? I don't have any ability to defend this location, so I'm going to stack them in the middle. To the best of my ability, at least. I mean, the middle's just getting hit next turn. Like, I can't stop that, so I'm putting them over here because it's at least not immediately taking Doom damage. Bringing us down to -3 Doom, top of the round, 5 Doom, doesn't matter. I can no longer be healed over here on Skids, don't really care about that at the minute. Test 3 head, I'm up 2, take 2 damage if you fail. I'm going to be playing this afterwards no matter what, because I hate this card and I want it gone. Wait, I've already drawn a copy of Adaptation. I imagine there's only 2 copies of that card and then 2 copies of the variant. There are actually 3 of those, terrifying. I'm sorry if you think that's cheating, but that's like a meta-knowledge thing where you would just know it on future playthroughs. You would know it if you were paying attention and assembling the deck yourself. So I will be using this on Into Temptation no matter what. And we're just testing this up too. There's really nothing to do on it other than committing a Brother Xavier. Go up 3 to beat the Squids in the -3. Is that even helpful? Like, deny is good, but I kill it this turn, and deny's not actually better in my hand. Thanks though, I'm glad you're showing up. Alright, over here on Skids, yours is way funnier. I well connected and I evade at 1,000,000. Don't make me do the math. Cool, he's dodged. I dirty fight. My numbers are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 5. Just 5 to 3. You would definitely like to be higher than this, I'll admit it. Quick thinking. Up 3. Up 1. Easy game. Quick thinking goes off. That's 3 damage thanks to Blood Drunk. Oh my god, this card is so cool if you get your numbers high enough to use it. Next, I'm going to attack again. I'm only up 2. I commit the Knuckle Dusters to be up 3. Get wrecked, game. Get absolutely demolished. He's dead. Or I guess I should say they're dead. It's just a crowd. Each ready, unengaged enemy with the patrol keyword. So, since massive enemies are considered to be engaged with you, that means massive enemies won't patrol as long as they have you to fight. So Skids can run up here, take 2-2 from walking in and then getting hit. He lives it. It's fucking scary, but he lives it. Like, I'm taking 1-1 from just going to fight it no matter what, right? I'm gonna walk in, I'm gonna lightning bolt this person and put the doom on Eileen. She's much more likely to die than anyone else. I'm gonna walk up. I'm going to take 1-1, and over the next little bit of time, I'll be thinking about whether or not I need to kill Eileen. I don't think I do, not until I draw Lonnie, at least. Now, over here with the other Zealots, it's just Cyclopean Hammer time. We're at 3, 4, 5, and then 8. 8-3 is great. 6-3 is great. That'll be 2 damage. Remove a curse. 8-3. The exact number doesn't matter because I need a second swing anyway. Cool, now it's done. Alright, we dealt with 2 sets of Zealots in 1 turn. This is like the pinnacle of double flex. I was surprised we managed to kill 2 of them. I thought they were just going to be running rampant completely unchecked. Okay, cool. Enemy phase, do I want to kill Eileen? I progress this turn if I kill Eileen, right? No, we only go up to 6, and then -2 is 4. Killing Eileen doesn't progress us. Nothing here deals 4 of anything at once, so I feel okay to take the damage. Lucky's great. 6, but really 3 Doom and Evil cards. Now, anytime I take damage, I take an additional point of damage. But the moment I deal any damage, total of 2 or more damage to an enemy in a single action, discard Blood Sacrifice. This is a card that I have complaints with. Just like Blood Drunk is really, really bad if your fist number was just barely sufficient and you were doing like +3 on everything, and now you're only +1 and you have no way of overcoming that. Blood Drunk can be a really, really brutal card. But if you're a cluever, this card literally doesn't exist. It's just a blank. Blood Sacrifice is the same deal. If you're a cluever, this says permanently take 1 more damage anytime you take damage, and if you're a fighter, it says do your action once, and this goes away. There's a lot of cards in the set that feel like they specifically target 1 person, and that's really high variance, because the other person might draw it. These cards should have more symmetrical effects in some way, or at least it feels like that to me. Sorry if I keep sounding very absolute in the things I say as feedback. I don't mean to, it's just a habit I built up of not undermining yourself, of saying things in authoritative tones, which is not helpful for game feedback, and I'm sorry for it. Anyways, what are we doing? Drawing an encounter card on Diana. We can throw this over here, and it will take 2 actions to get to anyone. We're good. We can throw it above Skids. I don't want to do that. On Diana, I can move, take a horror, and spend 3 resources. Move. Take a horror, spend 3 resources. Is that what you say? Yes. So both of these are gone. We're down to passive levels of Doom. Wait a second. I only need to get rid of one of those. I'm going to leave the one. It doesn't matter because we're advancing next agenda anyway. But I'm going to leave the one that requires me to take a horror. 3 resources mean nothing to me. A horror absolutely means something to me. Anyway, that was move to get the agenda to advance. I think I spend 2 clues to drop a barricade here. And I Rite of Seeking. 5-3. Not the best numbers, but good enough numbers. And I'm actually just going to spend this immediately and drop another barricade here. I can't have them coming this way for immediately obvious reasons. Cool, that's it for us. Now that's it for Diana. We never took Skids' turn. Every character looks a lot worse when you skip them. This is 3-3. We well connected the dodge, don't auto-fail. Cool. Now for the actual fight, Dirty Fighting cancels itself out. I think I might have spent the action on the Dirty Fight last time. Maybe not. I don't know for sure. Anyway, Dirty Fighting has at base 3, 4, 5-3. I'm going to spend 1 on Hard Knocks on each of them to beat 3s and Squids. I can afford to miss once, so I don't need to worry about beating -4s. Same thing again. Cool. That's 6 damage, 2 from each swing, and then 1 from Blood Drunk on each swing. Like, it's Mega Machete, but right now it's just Machete. Machete's just a very good weapon. Blood Drunk with Dirty Fighting to completely cancel it out and use your original numbers is really dope. Dirty Fighting is allowing me to push through Blood Drunk in a way that very few other characters ever could. Like, maybe a Mark could also ignore this. Not many characters get to do this. It's just Dirty Fighting and Mark, it feels like. Even on Daniela, this card felt crippling. But she has 4 heads, so she can get through it. Alright, cool. I think I just moved down, so I'm going to move over and get the Thumerian Doctor next turn. And that's it for us, for real this time. Also, my mom's in the hospital. Anyway, 7, actually 5 of 5 Doom. All Doom and play goes away. I keep clicking down the negatives, which is not how that works. Doom clears. Next agenda. Remove all barricade tokens connecting to the chapel nave. It's just really, really hard to defend. And then afterwards, if you were instructed to advance the story while she's... Oh, alright. The afterwards bit, if you flipped over Amelia, it would advance the agenda. And if you did do that, it advances the agenda twice. Don't let her die. That's what you call a catastrophic failure if that happens. Anyway, F.R. Michael Gascoigne, as everyone knows him. I can't take it seriously. Father Gascoigne is not as scary as I expected him to be. He's a 6/5/4. He's got Hunter as a parlay. You can just header book 3 to appeal to his remaining humanity. If you succeed, exhaust them and immediately move to a connecting location. If you fail, he attacks you. Limit 1 success per game. This card confused me a lot. Maybe if I read the story, it would make more sense. Maybe this happens weirdly. There's not another side to this. He doesn't transform. I was really surprised. It's just you and Gascoigne. There's no beast face. And that's definitely the sort of thing where I could see it changing in the future. Or maybe it's just the sort of thing where it doesn't need to have a beast face. This feels like a perfect situation where I was expecting to flip over a card where we could have like force text when this character dies, flip it over, and then you come to the back and there's like the same normal health, but now it has player scaling health. With the amount of fighting that goes on in this scenario, there's not really room for a second phase Gascoigne, so I see why it doesn't happen. Anyways, enough rambling. What are we doing? Drawing evil cards. Yeah, sure, I'm Prey. Yeah, sure, who's easy to deal with? Doom Lady. Is 3 Resource Guy actually easier? I can really easily find myself in a spot on... Wait a second, this number of clues I have on Diana's wrong, right? There is 2 clues here and 2 clues there. So I should have spent all my clues on Diana. Anyway, like I was saying a second ago, I feel like I can easily find myself in a spot where I need to play Bandolier Twilight Blade or to replay Brother Xavier, so I think Horror Guy is the easier one to deal with. Anyway, evil card here. Choir Intelligence is, as always, spooky as hell. We're going to throw him over here. Speaking of Hunter phase, this guy comes over. Father Gascoigne will break into the church immediately if you give him half a chance. This is a hard one. This is not a clean spot. I can run over on Diana and hammer the Thumerian Doctor, and it will just die in 1 hit, as likely as not. The issue is that Gascoigne is probably living around. Oh, Blood Sacrifice should be gone. I've dealt a lot of damage since I drew that. Bye, Hospital Debts, but I need you back, sorry. Oh, I didn't test Blood Drunk at the end of my last round, which is me cheating, because I really want to keep the Blood Drunk. Oh, that's no fun. That's no fun at all. I guess I shouldn't have placed those barricades. 6 is just such a high number of fist, man. Diana's swinging at 8 right now, which is up 2. Like, it's Diana move, swing, and then this guy walks in, next turn it's engage, swing. It's gotta be Skids comes down, gets Gascoigne. Then we immediately try to trip him with well connected, 4, 5, 9 to 4. Cool, unsurprisingly, he is incredibly tripped. Oh! Right. Hard Knocks. The card's in my deck for a reason. It's not just a meme. What number do I need to beat -6? I'm currently at 3, 4, 5 to 6. So I need to spend 1 to be even. Do I have lucky? I do. I can just spend 4 then. Are there curses in the bag? There is 1 curse in the bag. I spend 1 to be even. I spend 2 so that I can use lucky to beat -4. I spend 2 to beat -4 and lucky in case I get curse -4. Don't need lucky because I spent the extra money. Blood Drunk, deal an additional 1 damage. Go again. 1 to be even. And then 4 God, can I afford to spend 4 a second time? That's so much. I think I forgot to gamble a few times. I've just been distracted with this, all of this. I definitely spend 2, so I can lucky through -3, -4. I don't want this well connected going off. That's the problem. I want this well connected to stay online. I'm up 2. This is why I wanted to be up more than that. Well, I'd be an idiot if I had been up more than that. Jesus, I can't believe I was considering invested in more than this. All right, I thought I was losing Lucky there, but Lucky's an insane card if you're buying success with Hard Knocks, because it's just like so much money. You just keep being greedy with Hard Knocks, and this gives you so many chances to not play it and then save 2 resources there. It's such a good synergy that I wasn't aware of at all making the deck. I might get the Lucky upgrades earlier than I was planning to, because it's so good with Hard Knocks. Okay, on Diana, it's move. This guy engages. He's only got 3. We've got 8. Hammer. -2, I didn't fail. I didn't fail, so no penalty on the skull as well. -2, 6 to 3, succeeded by 3. Exhaust, dead. Holy shit, we're killing it. Very literally killing it. Enemy phase, he walks to his doom. Upkeep phase. This has been incredible. Shouldn't there be doom on somebody? I thought doom got placed. Did that happen before the agenda advance or something? I swear to God, I was having a debate about putting doom on her because it's easier to deal with. And then I never placed it. That's what happened. I'm very sure that there should be a doom on her right now. Yes, I put a health token on her. That's what's going on. Okay, now I understand. Cool. Just a real quick check. Is this all the same stuff as the previous one? I assumed it was on memory. These look like the same agenda. Cool. Except this one's got a picture of Father Gascoigne being all crazy. Anyways, 1 actually 0 of 5 doom, evil card. Can I do anything about that? Ward of Protection, level 2. Put the horror on this person because they're expendable. Basement ticks up to 4. Get out. We're not doing it. A Mere Bad Dream is just like that other card I got rid of. Test 3 head. If you fail, take 2 horror. If you draw the other symbols, gain surge. They're both absolutely terrifying. All right, on this team, Blood Sacrifice just doesn't do anything. I mean, it's scary right now because I literally can't get rid of it. But engage, swing, swing. It's 8 to 4 twice. Probably dead. That's 2 damage. He's dead. Oh, also Blood Sacrifice goes away. Like I said, this Mythos card is terrifying unless you deal damage with weapons, in which case it does literally nothing. If an Investigator deals a total of 2 or more damage to an enemy in a single action, it would just be blank on everyone. But as it is now, it's just like high variance cluever hate, and I don't know if I feel good about that. Let me rephrase that. I don't feel good about that. So, what are we doing? We killed so much. Kind of sad that the Church Behemoth got discarded. We could take him on too. Like, he's honestly easier to kill than some of these other guys are. Yeah, we took on all the biggest enemies. We got all 3 Zealots, 2 of the Choirs, Behemoths out. We've done almost all of the fight that there is to do. That's wild. You would think with draws this bad, you get run over. This team is absolutely sick. This place is 2 Shroud. I'm going to investigate it and use Look What I Found when I fail. Or pass. All right, cool. That's the last insight, marker recognition. I will take a clue. And I'm going to investigate again with well connected this time because I don't want to find myself in a situation where I have to play Look What I Found for no reason. I'll just take the clue. And I'll move back to mid. And that's it over here. Test head. Ah, damn it, I'm not blood drunk anymore. I just lost so much power. That's so unfortunate. If only there was some way to make myself fail. Anyways, upkeep phase. Promise of Power, the second one is fantastic. Backstab's great. 2 of 5 Doom. We do need to go deal with Sister Adela's little horror thing eventually, but I haven't found my Infinite Horror Soak. You can't go here. It's the only wrong choice. Up here and up here are the same. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yes. I'm going to throw you up top. And then over here, we're going to get a trigger on Fool Me Once. Get out, idiot. Speaking of, I forgot to gain money and draw a card on that Ward of Protection. My hand size should have been 8 before that. We were good during upkeep. So I swing Cyclopean Hammer at 10 now. I've got Savant well connected. I move Horror Soak and move back. While I'm over here, I drop my clues as a barricade. That'll be 2 actions and 1 horror. which gets us up to a slightly healthier Doom number. Turns out putting horror on her instead of the action here was objectively worse. Don't know why I did that. Because you can keep putting the Doom on her, you can just like stack it up until the turn you need to get rid of all of it. I just played that horribly. I play heavy first though. I've been not gambling. I'm gonna gamble 1 to 3 times to make up for all the gambling I've not done. Okay. Okay. And one last time. Cool. All 3 of them passed. All 3 of them got 1 resource. Also, 2 insights got pulled out. Parallel Skids, great at insight. You would have no idea how much about the real nature of the world you learn while gambling. I just kept being blood drunk and it got into me in real life. I'm basically method acting over here. So that's it for me. For Diana, oh god, Diana has to do stuff too. I'm gonna move to mid. What else do we do? I play a Holy Rosary. That just seems good. Now I can swing at 11. I can take this test at 8 to 5, which is pretty sick. Do I draw her Bandoliers? Spectral Razor's a lot worse, but it still does have value after the first Cyclopean Hammer proc. I don't need Read the Signs. I guess I draw a card? Alright, Bandolier, good job. I can play you and then get Twilight Blade out and just keep being gross. Sure, whatever. Enemy phase, he hunts. Upkeep phase. Manual Dex level 2, forgot I did that. Second Bandolier, don't really need that. We're good now. I would hold Read the Signs over Dragon Bolt at the very least. 3 of 5 Doom. Like, this next little bit's just gonna be us waiting. We killed all the big enemies. We drew them all at the start thanks to Overzealous, and now we just need to draw Mythos cards for a little while. There is an enemy in here. Alright, immediately. We're gonna use Well Connected on this to not take 1,000,000 damage. We pass. I don't know what the numbers are, but I'm getting +4 to them, so I don't really care too much. It was a -2. It was a difficulty 3, so difficulty 5. I had 2 + 4 is 6. I barely passed. I realized I needed to recount that. Okay, head 3 over here. I got 8 head, not committing. Get out. Yeah, that was, oh. Okay, we're good. I was like, all right, let me check for autofail then. Cool, now what? I guess someone should go kill this guy. I walk up, I swing at 11 to 3. He's dead, I walk down. Get the fuck out of my chapel. Discard an asset you control so that you can be healed. Not sure I need to do that if Lonnie isn't in play. Not even sure this deck has an expendable asset, actually. I'm very Crypt Chill vulnerable, it turns out. I'm going to gamble at 2. Whoops, clicked the wrong way. With Manual Dex for 6 to 2. 4 to 2, I draw 2 cards. I gain 4 resources. I'm going to play Easy Mark. Gain 2 resources, draw a card. I'll be gambling with this very soon. Going to play Emergency Cash. I gambled, Easy Cash, Emergency Mark. Close, not quite. I give my mom's medical debts some money. That's not an action, though. I'm gonna draw a card. Hey, Lonnie, about time you shut up. Now I have a reason to get rid of Blood Drenched Fate. I could kill Eileen and then put Lonnie down in her place if I wanted to. Eileen's given me some good numbers, though. Like, I think she's just good. Also, Lightning Bolt, disengage from enemies with me and move to a different location is pretty good. Like, that is a lot of mobility. That's basically unlimited mobility. I know it only moves once, but disengage move as a free action is sick. This is the card Cat Burglar wishes it was. Anyway, that is us. On the Lamb. You, Bandolier, get out, get out. I don't need to discard you yet, actually. Over here was I over hand size, just barely not. 4 of 5 Doom. What is it today? Breached. Wait. Yes, and a discard pile. Where is he? Church Behemoth, welcome into the church. Where you should be. Yeah. Breached, you choose between spawning an enemy at your location or spawning at the location furthest from you that contains a bystander asset. It's not gonna go well for Church Behemoth. Abandoned Faith. I can either put Doom on its story asset, which is literally just an action. I love this. You can either place 1 Doom, or if you believe in your head high enough, risk placing multiple Doom. It's 3 right now. I place 1 Doom, though, like a sensible person, on Sister Amelia. As I'm no longer blood drunk on Skids, I'm gonna go first here. I'm swinging at 11 to 3, 3 times. He has 6 health, 2 foot, massive. And he has this really cool text. If he doesn't spawn with you and he's like over here, he doesn't have Hunter or Patrol. He doesn't do anything. No one shows up in this graveyard because he's protecting it. But then if you walk over here, at the end of the investigation phase, if an investigator moved at Church Behemoth's location or a connecting location, Church Behemoth gains Hunter until the end of the round. So that's not if you were there at the end of the investigation phase. At the end of the investigation phase, it makes a check. That's a little bit confusing. People at my table misinterpreted this initially. So if you like come here and get some clues for a barricade and leave, he just assumes you're a bad guy and runs in the church. And now if he ever sees you move over here, he runs in the middle. And he's a big dumb idiot, so he'll just slap anyone. He doesn't pay a lot of attention. So I really like the idea of this guy. Thematically, he's amazing. But one slight problem he can create is that once he gets here, everyone stops moving. We can't deal with him. The optimal play is now never move. And that's not a great thing that can happen, though I'm not sure there's any way around it. Maybe if there was like an action on him that was usable at adjacent locations, but now there's just like so much text on the card. I like a lot about the card, it's just that one thing where the optimal play becomes standstill. Our team does not have that problem. We're swinging 11 to 3. It's wrong not to take Ward of Protection level 2. I know it's wrong. 3 damage. 5 damage. I tap this ability. I test 7 to 2. I pass. I heal myself and place the last damage on Church Behemoth, killing him. That was just greedy as shit, like I could have placed the Doom, but if I had, it wouldn't have mattered because I just used this action to get rid of the Doom on Sister Amelia immediately. And feeling on top of the world, gonna be honest with you. When I played this the first time, we had to go through a lot of rigmarole with the other bystanders. I'll talk about it when we switch the agenda. Let me just say that this is not gonna look like our previous scenario. Ward of Protection 2, scenario ends next turn, I don't need to play Lonnie. I gamble. I draw a card, I draw a card, I draw a card. The last draw kills Eileen, basically. So I don't want to do that this turn. Is there any useful play that I have? Not even a little bit. I gain a resource. Then as my last action, I calculated risk. Watch this. Gamble 3. Watch this 3. We're in it for 12. We're currently looking at 3, 4 to 3. That just feels more than good enough to me. Are there curses in the bag? I don't believe so. 4 to 3. Or up 4, rather. Sorry, you reveal another one. Cool. I gain 12 resources. That's a very satisfying thing to do. Really, I'm only gaining 6 because, like, I bet 6 of them. But it feels like gaining 12. Anyway, that's my turn over here on Skids. Upkeep, I let Eileen die. That's so stupid. I take the horror myself. Like a man. We got calculated risk back immediately. I don't think we need this Lonnie or this backstab. We definitely don't need Look What I Found. Over here, this basement's actually at 4 now. Clairvoyance is not getting played. You're not getting played. It's just too late. 5 Doom, advance. Sister Amelia story asset is in place, so you flip her over and resolve the story text on the reverse side, regardless of how much Doom is in place on her. Maybe like afterwards read the following text, because I feel like people could read this and start reading the story text before reading it. But yeah, you resolve this text, a lot of flavor text. We test foot 4. If you succeed, you may disengage from enemies and move to an adjacent location. If you fail, you must take 2 damage. Completely fine over here. I'll take the foot test and fail it. Taking the damage on Skids would have been scary, so I don't care about taking 2 damage here at all. Also, like, I'm not taking any more damage after this, and we're evading the boss, like, we're just fine. Anyway, now when you move every humanoid and creature enemy in the encounter deck and discard power from the game, and shuffle in Silent Prayer. Oh wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyways, after the 2 damage is taken, we remove this from the game and replace her with a set-aside Sister Amelia. If it's agendaed 2A or earlier, then you're going to have additional problems, where because you let Amelia die too early, she immediately kills another bystander. You're never saving Sister Amelia, she's the monster. 3 attack, 8 health, 4 foot, Hunter alert, massive. At the end of the enemy phase, heal 1 damage from her. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about this encounter set because you're not going to get to see it very much because the game is ending immediately. Blessed Are the Meek is amazing. It's Surge, heal 1 damage from Amelia. If you don't know, in Bloodborne, she regenerates. It's her whole thing. If you're under geared, her regeneration's a nightmare, and if you're ready for the fight and know what you're doing, you just bulldoze through her exactly like we're about to do. Vex and Smite makes an immediate attack against the investigator closest to her, and then you resolve the bystander's movement triggers as if Doom had been placed on them. And then Fury Upon Sin is at the beginning of the enemy phase, you place 1 Doom on the bystander asset closest to Sister Amelia, and Forced, after she takes damage, discard 1 copy of Fury upon send. All very cool cards. I really like this idea of removing all the enemies in the encounter set and having a new encounter set that's just the boss fight. That feels so appropriate for a Souls variation of this. I think I've gotten all of the enemies now. If they haven't, alas, not a big deal. Shuffle that. Then we flip this Chapel Sanctuary over, and now we are going to have something completely different. We probably passed skill test here at some point and gained a resource, like all those times we just hit that guy just now. But the new version's Force Shroud 2 clues. During the enemy phase, if a massive enemy would move into this and there's a barricade token on this location, cancel that enemy's movement and discard 1 barricade. Again, this is what's on the agenda at the bottom here, except it's got extra specification, meaning that you needed this text. You can get rid of this force text by just making the agenda clearer. Because it's the same text we've been seeing on the agenda, I'm not reading it, that's why. And if it just didn't have that specification, you wouldn't need this force text. And if there are no ready enemies at Chapel Sanctuary, you may resign. But that means there's a way out. You lure Amelia off, you run back in, and you escape. We're not doing that. We're gonna get out. How's it work? If Sister Amelia is defeated, advance the act. That's how we're gonna get out. So, yeah, evil cards then, I guess. Let's see how it goes. I think the Surges already have one. Yep. Baptism of Fire. This is the first one we've seen. Choose a location with connections. Okay, this is just sad. I test foot. Cool, this location is being baptized by fire. You choose a location with connections that barricades can be placed on in test foot 3. If you succeed, you don't use Baptism of Fire. If you fail, it loses all barricades. But if you fail and it has no barricades, then you attach Baptism by Fire to it. And then Baptism by Fire is attached to that location. Barricades cannot be placed there, and you take 1 damage as a cost to enter. But as an action, you can spend player resources or clues to discard Baptism of Fire. It doesn't do anything at this point in time. I'm not going over there. And a mere bad dream. I ward it, because the game's ending. We increase our basement, this goes away, I draw a card and gain the resource back. I don't know if I clicked that properly, I don't even care either. She is so comically dead. She has 4 foot. I have virtually unlimited, well, that's my hubris showing. So like I was saying, I have virtually unlimited foots. Second verse, same as the first. Cool, she's evaded. I use Dirty Fighting. I believe she only has 3 fists as well. She only has 3 fists. We're at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 3. That is just good enough. Reveal a new token. That is a pass. Again, as an actual action for 2 more damage. That is a pass. That is 4 of, I believe, her 8 health. I did my job. We are safe. She's half dead. Take it away. That is 3 damage. 5 damage. 7 damage. We dealt 3 overkill to her. Very, very, very fast death. An entire extra action. Immediately murdered. No threat whatsoever. Advance the act. Now, I do want to specify, this is not the normal result. It is not remotely close to how our scenario went. We are playing double cluever mono fighter in our 3-player run, which is the wrong choice for this campaign and something we have intensely regretted. Daniela would really appreciate some help on the fighting front because Bob and Ursula don't do any fighting. They have 1 occult lexicon between them. In this scenario, we have 2 very, very competent fighters. Skids can buy success against any enemy. The Cyclopean Hammer hits like a truck. Like, we got through triple Zealots in like 1 round. They placed 3 Doom and that was it. That's like the minimal effect those enemies can ever have. This team is very, very good at fighting, and as a result, it does sort of warp the scenario. Also, very important, this is actually not the same agenda we've been seeing. Doom no longer subtracts from the threshold, and now Doom is making the game end faster. At the end of each round, the bystander assets go to the chapel, and then if a bystander asset cannot move in this way, because it began and ended at chapel, it enters the victory display, essentially meaning they ran down the stairwell to safety. You saved them. And forced, if any enemy would be placed in the encounter discard pile, remove that enemy from the game. So if there were enemies on the board and you killed them, they would be removed. They would not ever be able to recur. And then forced, during the enemy phase, if an enemy would move into a chapel location, this is the same thing we've been seeing. And again, it could just be less specific and save you a little bit of text. There is a big thing I do want to mention here before we continue, though. With all of these people, it's at the end of the round. That's the check trigger. The timing is end of the round. Here, the timing is end of the round. So let's say Sister Amelia was here. I drew like 4 autofills. What happens? This person's gonna get a Doom, and then they go down the stairwell and they're safe. These 3 people walk in here. They don't take Doom. I already did that. We did that trigger already. If you have 2 triggers at the same timing window, the players choose which order they go in. If you want this to happen, where they move in and they don't get any additional Doom from the round they move in, then all right, cool, you're good. And I think that might be the intent, because if you didn't do it like that, well, as you can see, they'd get 3 Doom immediately. It would be very possible that all 4 walk in, because they're all in adjacent locations, you get 4 Doom, the Doom progresses, the game ends, right? So I think this is the intention. If it's not currently the intention, then the game doesn't work that way currently. And if the other thing is the intention, if it's possible to instantly lose if no one was in the chapel, that feels very bad to me. So either I think this is obtuse, and I think most people will play it wrong, or it's very punishing. I do really like it though. Despite my many criticisms of this scenario, I think this is a long video, mostly because I've been criticizing the scenario, I fucking love this. This is amazing. I love how fight-focused it is. I love that there's a scenario that is fight-focused like this. I was happy when I played Marrakesh and Scarlet Keys. I'm happy when I play this. I'm happy when I play Ice and Death Part 3. I love getting to see legitimately fight-focused scenarios. I do wish there was a lot more for cluevers to do. As you saw, dealing with enemies outright, really efficient, clearly the optimal way to do it. Placing barricades, does not feel good. Not safe, not a good strat, don't like doing it. So while barricades are valuable, you'll be fighting beginning to end. You only need a couple of barricades in a couple of locations, and it feels like cluevers don't have quite enough to do, especially if the church behemoth comes down and the fighter's busy with something over here and the church behemoth is here. So if anyone needs to go up here, then he's forced down and then no one can move ever again. That one little play pattern's super toxic, and I don't know how to solve that, but it is an observation I've had. But on the whole, I don't know if I was this positive at the end of the last scenario or if I was getting distracted by the amount I had to say. I've loved both of these scenarios. I am absolutely thrilled with this campaign so far. And despite all the little things I'm saying, it all comes from a position of really wanting the game to be better. It is fantastic already. This is going to be a great campaign once it's fully polished. I've played a lot of custom campaigns. All right, I played a couple of custom campaigns. It's not a lot, like 3 or 4. This is the only one up there with Dark Matter that I've played so far. It's really good and I'm having a blast. I forgot to do resolution, which seems like an important thing I should do in the video. We got R1 for progressing the act. We saved everyone, so we proceed to R3. In R3, you get 4 bonus experience. Eileen McRow is alive, so we proceed to R6. R6, we get Victory X, and Victory X is going to be 1 Church Behemoth, 1 Father Gascoigne, 1 Sister Amelia, and 4 for a total of 7. In scenario 2, we got 1 recognition and 7 experience. Not for lack of trying though. Real quick, I need to check. I don't know off the top of my head. Yes, the insight tokens go back in the bag. Sadly, wait, I didn't gamble this turn. Damn shame. The insight tokens go back in the bag. It's just 1 recognition this time. Nothing I can do about it. We gotta interlude the plain doll. And then if your total recognition level is less than 1, it increases to 1. And in player order, we may ask 3 questions, 4 if you did badly in the previous scenario. And then once we've asked our questions, we proceed to the next one. There are a bunch of different questions, all with different effects. I'll tell you which ones I think are the most valuable to us. 1 lets you reroll your weakness. I don't feel like I want to do that, especially at the cost of a mental trauma. 1 lets us earn 2 bonus experience for a recognition. Honestly, we're swimming in experience. I'm going to keep the recognition. I want to make sure I hit any thresholds for that. There's 1 about people who previously did Bloodborne already. Apparently there's some time loop stuff going on, which makes sense considering Bloodborne's perpetual dream. But unfortunately, I haven't done that, so it's off limits to me. We can heal a trauma. We may start with a non-elite enemy removed from the game in each scenario. What Our Beast is an interesting one. Any 1 investigator may swap the gift you got in case you're having serious buyer's remorse. I may permanently lower the recognition to add milkweeds and metamorphosis. Yeah, I want to do that one. What is the hunt? The investigators learned the first hunts. It's because I'm playing on low player count. I want to make sure I get to see this optional stuff. I want to test it. If I fail to actually unlock it normally, I might just cheat to play with it anyway. Because, I mean, the reason I'm not able to play with it is low player count, and I will just make a note that I'm not able to get to it despite taking a million tests, because, just look at Parallel Skids is what he does. For the remainder of the campaign, we're instructed to include a card from Hunters of Yharnam. We may choose to add 1 additional card. The investigators learn to the other hunters. We get additional hunters whenever we're instructed to add them. I feel like these are things that are really easy to forget. I'm not sure how to fix that. but like I just have to take notes, and I don't really have space, so I have like the -1 Milkweed Metamorphosis and the +1 Hunter, but I'm not going to check that and remember. I'm probably going to forget all of these. I don't know why I'm bothering. I really want to get Insight, so I might get what happened to Arkham for removing an Insight from the bag at the start of scenarios. I'm actually going to do that just to maximize my chances of getting this stuff. The investigators learned the union between Arkham and Yarnum. Alright, and now we move on to Scenario 3 and Night Unending. And I believe we go straight into setup with nothing else. That guy isn't our enemy. Actually, we might switch to him, because like starting in play makes them a lot better. What's Walter Garrett do? +1 head, +1 foot? I'm going to buy a Charisma on Daniela and pick this guy next scenario. As I was cleaning up, I just realized I forgot to do hospital debts. As I clearly had the money, we're just going to realize that I'm playtesting a new campaign and forgot to do it. I'm not counting that as a -2 experience, I'm sorry. I just forgot it was there because there's a lot going on. The worst part of playing a big money rogue is the end of the scenario, when you have to do that. And then we come to scenario setup, and we're truly done with this episode. I've been rather incoherent. I hope you've been enjoying the Bloodborne custom campaign with me. I've been having a blast alpha testing this. It's a really good campaign so far. I've been having a great time with it. Anyways, I'll see you next time. If you liked the video, then like, comment, subscribe. All that stuff really does help the channel grow, and I'll see you in the next one.